Hey everyone, welcome back to Cuddy's Bookshelf. So today is my favourite books of 2024. These are some of my top 5-star reads. I loved all of these. I am going to fly through some of them because I have picked, if I had 5 stars and they was the same in the same series. I've just picked one out from the series and then I'm just going to tell you about the series basically. And some of them I'm going to fly through because you would have seen them in recent wrap-ups and vlogs. So for instance, these 3 are my favourite Christmas reads. One is the Christmas Book Club, about 3 friends that go on holiday every year for their book club, and this year they go to the Sugar Maple Inn, and you also get the perspective of the person that runs the inn, who is Hattie. She is struggling with running the inn her own way and also being a single mother, and it all gets the friends and Hattie, their secrets collide together, and it is just so cozy, so lovely. Absolutely 100% recommend. Kiss Me at Christmas and Meet Me Under the Mistletoe. I rave on about Jenny Bayliss' Christmas books, and I know that some of you are now going to pick these up for next year, and that makes me all kinds of excited. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts. But Jenny Bayliss has a way of writing so descriptively that you are so immersed into what she's saying, so you feel like you can feel things that she's talking about, or smell things, or taste things, because they're that descriptive. It just makes it so much more cozy. And with them set around Christmas, you know, all the great Christmas smells, like the wreaths and the tasting of the drinks and the foods around Christmas time. It takes you into those. These are great reads. Highly recommend. I have read more Jenny Bayliss books, and every single one I have not been disappointed about. So yeah, I don't want to say too much about them because I have raved on about them. They are in my November, December wrap up that I did. So yeah, if you want to know even more about them, go there. I don't want this video to be really long, and I do have a lot to talk about. So the next one is the 3rd one in the Greenbone saga, and this one is, it's just so good. I think the first 2 got 4 stars from me, and this is the only 5-star that I did, so I wanted to show this one off. This one is about 2 rival families, like gang families, and they are the distributors, and they control the jade in the city. And jade is a substance that you can wear and it makes you stronger, but you have to be trained in wearing the jade. To use the jade, you have to be trained, and it makes like warriors and everything so much stronger. Like the more jade you wear, the stronger you are, but you can be over, like you can have over consumption of it also. But there is now a new drug on the market that is letting anybody use jade. So this is causing really bad rifts between the 2 families, and yeah, it's basically which family will survive this war between the 2. So, but it's so, that is such a crap description of it. Don't go on my description, just give it a go. It does look intimidating because they are quite chunky, but totally worth the read. Honestly, absolutely gripped me. I did all of the emotions whilst reading this series, trilogy, but highly recommend. I'm going to say highly recommend after everything because they're my favourite books, but you know. Another book that I got, this was a gift from Jennifer, and I was dying to read this, so I'm so glad that I managed to get to it last year, and it is Abroad in Japan. This is by Chris Broad. He does do a YouTube channel that is his live, so some of the videos that he mentioned you can actually go and watch, which I did do after I finished the book. I went back and watched the vlogs that he had done when he first moved to Japan, etc. And it is basically him getting a job as an English teacher, moving to Japan, and his life whilst being in Japan over 10 years. And it is so humorous and rich in their culture. How much of a culture shock it is, especially when you go there and you don't know Japanese. So yeah, such a great book. Thank you, Jennifer, so much for buying me this. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So with this, the first book got 5 stars. I am currently still reading the second book, and it is The Poppy War. Oh my goodness. This is... it's heartbreaking, but then brutal. Even more brutal. And when you're carrying on the series, it's even more brutal. So prepare yourself for this. It is a hard read in ways, but the first half of this book I absolutely devoured so quick that when it comes to the second half, it did jar me a little bit, because it goes from Rin training in this elite school that she had worked really hard to get into, because her family, her living situation wasn't the best, so she couldn't wait and worked really hard to try and get into this elite school for fighting. And then it goes into war and the things that happen. Oh my goodness, but I highly recommend. Then there is a translated fiction, which is The Hojun Murders. This is a locked room murder mystery. So a locked room murder mystery is where a murder has happened in a locked room and you can't figure out how the murderer got in and out of the room. So well done. I was gripped. It is not too long, so if you want to give it a go, I highly recommend. I have brought more books in this series and plan to carry on, and yeah, absolutely loved it. Then one that I'm surprised I hadn't read before this year, there is a couple in here, this one being one of them, that I am so shocked that I have not read yet, and it's Memoirs of a Geisha. I adore this movie. This is one of my favourite movies of all time. Oh my goodness, to the point where when me and my husband got together, he had never watched it. So I was like, it's a film you need to watch. Like, there's certain films, like Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. This one, there is so many films that he hadn't watched, that Kill Bill and stuff like that. Bear in mind, we've been together 19 years, so don't worry, he's catched up on all of these. But yeah, it's... I know when you don't try and not do spoilers, I say this all the time. I don't want to spoil a book, but I want to gush about it at the same time. But if you've watched the movie, this has got like so much more. It's rich in the culture and the detail, and you feel so much for the characters, like the women in these books. You just, oh my goodness. So good. Highly recommend. I need to stop saying that, but I do. So the next one is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This was so good. I knew that when this first came out, there was so much hype around it, and I was put off because of the hype, because I was like, I'm going to read it and it's not going to live up to the hype. I see now why it got all of the hype. This was so good, and I love the setting of it, where it's Evelyn telling her story on her life going through Hollywood and how she ended up having 7 husbands and the reasons for marrying each one, and what it's like for a woman to, in this time, be in Hollywood, and the fact that you needed recognition from a man, and how difficult it was to navigate that. And yeah, loved it. Every Claire Keegan book I have read this year was a 5-star. So I have just picked one out, which is Small Things Like These, because all of them, I highly recommend. I don't like saying much about Claire Keegan's because they are tiny, but every word, oh my god, I'm hooked. Every word of it, I am hooked. They are short stories. They are abrupt endings, so they always leave you wanting more. So if you don't like short stories that end quite like that, you might not like Claire Keegan's, but oh my god, I always say it, they pack a punch for a tiny book, and they really do. Any of them, pick any of them up, just read them. Foster is my favourite, I think, that I've read out of all of them, but that wasn't last year, that was the year before. That was probably in last year's favourites, but yeah, read a Claire Keegan book. and you can thank me later. So some of the books that were in my I can't wait to read in 2024 list, I can't remember, but I know this was one of them, and it was the last book in the first Mistborn trilogy. The ending. The end. Like, this is my feelings. There was so many feelings within this trilogy. Brandon Sanderson's writing. Oh my god. I can't tell you. I just literally... I don't want to say too much because with it being the third, but such a great trilogy. Such a great ending. Absolutely loved it. I was really on the mark for being excited for it, and it did live up to all of my expectations, and I adored it. And then speaking of Brandon Sanderson, I might as well get this one out of the way. I have spoke about this one recently, and it is Warbreaker. Warbreaker got 5 stars. I think I knew it was 5 stars within the first chapter. I was like, I know how this is going, and it went that way. So good. Know if you're intimidated by Brandon Sanderson, one, please don't be, because it sounds more complicated, but no, when you read it, it's just beautiful. His magical systems in his book are just amazing. Like, oh, some of my favourites that I've read. And this one, the magic is breath. So everyone is born with one breath, but you can give someone else your breath. And the more breath that they have, the stronger they are. But it leaves you with no breath, and the whole world is dulled because you've given your original breath away. And no matter how many breaths you consume, so you can have thousands, but if you go to give somebody one, it takes them all. So it's not like you can hand them out willy-nilly. You have to be really careful, and some people just want to keep their original breath and not have any more. But yeah, because, you know, people come after the breath. But yeah, the magical system in this is absolutely phenomenal. I fell in love with the characters. I could not put it down, and it was 5 stars from the first chapter. So yeah, get yourself some Brandon Sanderson, and if you've got them and you put them off, don't read them. Honestly, I can't wait to jump into like the proper Cosmere books, because another book that I read that was the last in a trilogy, A Curse for True Love. I love this trilogy so much. I did reread the first 2, The Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After, as well as going into this one. But obviously they was rereads, so, you know, 5 stars. But yeah, this also 5 stars. Again, with my feelings whilst reading, I literally annotated this to the inch of its life, because everything was just making me gush or question or get excited about. And yeah, this is following Evangeline. I love her, and the story with Jax, I can't say too much with it being the third, but if you love like fairy tale-esque fantasy worlds where you are just can't wait to read the next book, and it's such an easy, pleasurable read, yeah, this trilogy will do it for you. So the next book was a surprising book for me, because it wasn't on my radar at all. I went into Waterstones to spend some of my stamps, points, card thing, whatever you call it, some of the money that I'd gathered up from buying books from Waterstones. And the bookseller came over to me and she was like, I highly recommend, I've just finished this book. And it was Carla by Colin Walsh. And I'm so glad that she did, because this was so good. It is like a mystery, because it's about 6 teenagers back in 2003. They were inseparable until one of them goes missing, and it's been a mystery that has clouded the town, and that they've always wondered what happened to Carla. But 3 of the friends come back to the town, and they haven't seen each other for a while, and they start talking, and then things start to unravel. And when you're reading this, it gets darker and darker as you go along, and I really enjoyed that. But I highly recommend this if you like your mystery type books and beautiful writing. So addictive, absolutely loved it, and I'm so grateful for the bookseller that told me to pick it up, because she was not wrong. Totally worth the read. I have got a couple of contemporary romances to talk about. The first one is in a series. It's the Chestnut Spring series, but this one is the only one that got 5 stars from me, and this is Heartless. This is Cade and Willa's story. Cade is really grumpy, and Willa is his new nanny, recommended by a friend, and that's all I'll really say because it is in the series and they are like interconnecting with characters, like reoccurring characters in each. It's one of those series, but it is a cowboy romance, and yeah, I loved it. I love this one. The others, some of them got 4 stars, and I think one got 3 stars I wasn't that keen on, but yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I highly recommend this one in the series. Let me know, because I know Chestnut Spring series was a popular series. Let me know your favourite. But yeah, this one was just chef's kiss. Loved it. So the other contemporary romance that I wanted to talk about was Funny Story by Emily Henry. Emily Henry is one of those authors that just hit it out of the park every time. I don't know what she puts in her books, but I read them so fast and I get so addicted to them. And I loved this one. This one followed Daphne, and I'm trying to remember all the names in these books, but this one follows Daphne, and she is happily engaged to Peter, and he goes out on his stag do. The morning after his stag do, tells Daphne that he wants to break up because the friend that he has, the girl that he told Daphne she didn't need to worry about because they was just best friends, has confessed her feelings to him on the night of his stag do, and he wants to get with her. He gives Daphne a week, I think it is, while they go on her honeymoon. You know, kick her while she's down. He gives her a week to move out. She tries to find listings. She can't find any anywhere. And she ends up moving in with Miles, who is the man's friend who confessed her feelings. He was her current boyfriend. So it's the two broken-hearted people moving, like she's moving in with him. So he's like really broken-hearted, bedroom-bound to start with. So they have brief interactions, and obviously they start spending time together, and it goes from there. But oh, I found this so addictive, and I loved the concept of the really happy, starting out really happy and in a relationship, to them being brokenhearted and finding someone that's going through that heartbreak to help heal your own heart. I loved that. So yeah, love this. Love Emily Henry so much. I will go into MJ Orridge because I would have a big stack of his books on here, but I've just picked one out that was 5 stars. I did finish what was out at the time last year. I did finish the D.I. Helen Grace series. There is a new one that I have just picked up because it's now out in paperback, because I was waiting for the paperback, and that will be read this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if that would be in this year's wrap up, like the favourite books of this year. But D.I. Helen Grace, such an amazing series, morally grey characters. If you like crime, and there's so much depth into each character that you really, really feel for them. And every book ends where you cannot wait to pick the next book up, that you need to know what happens. But I don't know where he keeps getting all of these amazing ideas from in this series, but every book is either a 4-star or a 5-star for me. I think there might be one where I gave it less. I might not have done, but it's generally a 4 or 5-star series, and rightly so. Absolutely incredible. And why I'm on the subject of MJ Orridge, Eye for an Eye, the concept of this book had me gripped. So this follows people that have been given new identities after being granted lifelong immunity from their crimes, and this goes into somebody revealing who they truly are and the repercussions of them being revealed. Like, all of their families are wanting revenge, or like the victims are wanting revenge, and it really resonates with you in a way that you're thinking, do they deserve what they got? But then you hear about their crimes and you're like, well, if that was my family, what would you do? Is forgiveness that easy? It really messes with your head, and you sort of put yourself in that situation of both the criminal, and then next thing you're putting yourself in the situation of the family, and you're so torn. Like, it really draws you into the story. And again, MJ Arridge, just flawed, just absolutely flawed. I loved it, absolutely loved it, and again, highly recommend. And then while we're on the subject of like thrillers, this is The Stranger in Her House. So when I first picked this up, I thought this was going to be, I went off the title and I seen some people review it, but I only watched them say it's a really good book. And then because when I bought it, it was going to be close to when I wanted to read it during spooky season, I clicked off the video. So I only knew the title and that it was a really good read. So with the title, I went with like a home invasion, someone breaking in, like someone that's in the house that's not supposed to be there. But this wasn't what it was. And I was so addicted to this that I was telling my friends at work what was happening whilst I was reading it. It was before work got really, really chaotic. So like I could have time to read like a couple of chapters, and I'm quite a fast reader. So they when I was leaving work, they're like, you need to tell me how it ends. You need to tell me, because neither of them, well, one of them is more of a reader than the other don't read at all, but they was both gripped to the story as I was telling them it. So this follows Connie, and Connie is looking after her mother. Her mother has got dementia, Alzheimer's, and is very on off with Connie at the minute. Obviously her symptoms for the two are getting worse, so she's a bit more violent, questioning who she is. And Connie not only takes care of her mother physically, like doing all of her personal care, she also does all of the housework. The only thing that is left behind is the outside of the house, so all of the gardening and everything is a bit overgrown. And Connie goes to her mother's house as normal on a normal day, and she finds a man outside who is cleaning the gutters. So she approaches him, obviously, and was like, who are you? And he says his name is Paul. He has been sent by a charity from the church, and they help vulnerable people on the upkeep of their gardens and landscapes, you know, that sort of thing. So she was like, okay, fair enough. And then she goes in to take care of her mum, and then Paul witnesses Connie have a really difficult time with her mum. Her mum starts getting violent, and Connie loses her temper and shouts at her mum because, you know, it is a draining, hard situation to be in, and when it's on a daily, you know. So he caught her in this moment with her mum, and he starts to sit down with her mum, and he will sit and chat with her, play games with her, etc. And then randomly he asks Connie out on a date, and she agrees. They sit, and she thinks it's going really well. She talks about herself and her mother, and then the next day she goes to her mum's, and Paul is already there, and he is sat at the table with her mum, and Connie's about to take her mum to the doctors, and he's like, I'll take her. And her mum's like, yeah, I don't want you to take me, I want Paul to take me. And she's like, why does this random man want to take my mum to the doctors? And she's like, no, I've got a list I need to tell the doctor. He's like, yeah, I've seen it on a bureau, I will question the doctor about it all, but I'll take her. And her mum just downright refuses to go with her. So Connie really hasn't got a leg to stand on. And she starts questioning him because the list wasn't left out. It was inside the bureau. So he had to be digging. And as she's walking out, as she's like giving up, she's walking out, and she notices her mum's purse is open and where she normally keeps her bank cards. So she's like, Mum, where's your bank cards? And he turns around and says, they're in the bureau, they shouldn't be left behind, anyone can take them. Excuse me? Squeeze me? Yeah. So I was like, who the hell is this man? And then I had loads of theories while I was reading it. I was like, I wonder if this is going to happen, and I wonder if this is going to happen. And this is why I ended up telling my co-workers, because I needed to talk to somebody about it. And this is what made it a 5-star for me, because I was so gripped and wanted to talk to someone that I was talking to someone that don't even read about the book, and made her that invested in it that she needed to know the ending. So, such a good book. It shows you like Connie going to the reverend that had recommended this Paul from the charity and saying like, what kind of man is he? Because she was starting to question herself, but he was so highly recommended. And then like, it's so many twists and turns in this. It will shock you. Oh my goodness, the twists. I literally swore out loud, like, what the actual fuck. So good. I highly recommend, as always with any of these books, that I could keep saying, but John Mars is one that I do plan on getting some more of their books, because yeah. And then I will go into Keeping 13. So this is the Boys of Tommen series. I really loved this series, and to say how chunky they are, they were so addictive. And I was really shocked that I'd only gave one of them 5 stars, because these characters, since I've read this series, I've stayed in my head. It's been one of those series that at the time I was really loving them, but I didn't realise how long the characters are going to stay with me. Like, even now, I don't get these characters out of my head. I think of Johnny and Shannon so often. And even like the last book, I thought, which was Taming 7, was it? I can't see because the light's blinding me, and I ain't got my glasses on, so I don't know why I'm even trying to look. I think the last book was Taming 7, and I absolutely love that story, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. It's like really anticipated read for me. So I do think I need to up the stars on the rest of the series, because I loved it. Loved it. It's so heartbreaking, and I think because it drew out so many emotions in me is why they have stuck with me for so long. And it's one of those series where it's reoccurring characters. So the first 2 are Shannon and Johnny's, and then the second 2 books are Shannon's brother, his story, and their story together anyway is absolutely devastating. But I just love the way that Chloe Walsh has written it. Highly recommend the Boys of Tommen series. Don't be intimidated by the size, because once you get in it, you're in it. Like, you read them so fast that, yeah. Again, I can't recommend it enough. The next one was a bit of a surprise for me, because it is from the Crowns of Nyexia series, which is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So I read the 2 books, and then there was this novella, 6 Scorched Roses, and I loved this novella. It was so good. This one follows Lilith, and Lilith's town is cursed by a god, and she makes a deal with this vampire that's in the village, because she is trying to save the people of her town, especially her sister. People are just withering away, like just dust coming off of them. They're just welting away, and her sister is one of them. So she's doing anything that she can to try and save her sister, and she thinks the blood of the vampire can help with a cure. So she makes a deal with this vampire, and for every time she takes vials of blood off of him, she gives him a rose, and it's like a most perfect rose. And it goes from there. I don't want to say too much, because obviously it's only a tiny novella, but I was so gripped. I could not put this down, and I was really shocked, because I really enjoyed The Serpent and the Wings of Night, but this one, oh my goodness, just blew me away. And let me know if you've read this little novella and what you think compared to The Serpent and the Wings of Night and the second one. I can't, some of a star-crossed king, cursed king, something or other. There's a second one anyway. Sorry, my memory's not very good, but yeah, this one, incredible. And let me know if you've read it and what you think to that one compared to the others, full novels in the series, because yeah, I was shooketh. Then this was my first time reading as well. I was late to the trend on this, and I read Divine Rivals, and I also read Ruthless Vows. Is it Ruthless Vows? The second one? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Ruthless Vows. This one got 5 stars, and I think Ruthless Vows got 4 stars, so I didn't include it in this video. But again, I had a lot of feelings. I loved that this almost felt real, because it's like in a war setting in that period, but there is magical elements to the story, and it made it feel so real. Like, you really feel like this could actually be a thing. And this is such a great, like, romance as well as such a good story at the same time. I was really drawn into it. But a lot of people have already read this, and I did say a lot about it when I first read it. But I did love it. Absolutely loved it. And I did really enjoy the second one as well. I just knew I liked the first one more. So that's why that one got a 5 star, and I think that is why I did the other one a 4 star. It would be like a 4.5 star, but I don't know how to do that on Goodreads, if you can actually do that on Goodreads. And then this is the other book that I said that I couldn't believe that I haven't read yet. Let me take it out the sleeve. Jurassic Park. I am obsessed. So obsessed that I have been making some changes in my life that maybe one day I will explain on here, but I'm not ready to just yet. But I did make some changes, and for the first month, to reward myself after making these changes, well, to reward me, but it was brought by my husband. He did buy me the second one. So I'm hoping to read The Lost World this year. But yeah, Jurassic Park, it is exactly what it says on the tin, you know. It's Jurassic Park, dinosaurs, a theme park, shit hits the fan. But the way this is written, I love that it don't just tell you things, it shows you things. So if there's something on the computer where it's like coded on something, it will show you in a box what's actually being shown, like told you. It will show you on the pages, and I love that about it. It really just adds that bit extra of not just being told things. And I love that in books. And I was gripped. If you love yourself a dinosaur, you'll love this. It is very sciencey as well. So if you don't like that, you might not like it. But if you love Jurassic Park, the movie, you know, you can't go wrong. To then go into a book that was a follow-on that I did try and finish in 2023, but ended up taking it into the January of 2024. And it is Bookshops and Bone Dust. Travis Baldree. Just Chef's Kiss. Just Chef's Kiss. If you've read Legends and Lattes and you haven't read this one yet, do it. Do it. It's just as cozy, just as gripping. You fall in love with the characters. Obviously, Viv you were already in love with anyway, if you've read Legends and Lattes. And it shows you Viv and her, what leads her to go into Legends and Lattes, like her when she was actually a warrior and fighting people, to her having to take a break because she's injured and being left behind in this town. And obviously it talks about her in this bookshop, and I don't want to say too much, but it is a cozy fantasy. It is everything that you want from a follow-on to Legends and Lattes, even though this is a prequel to Legends and Lattes, but obviously the second book that Travis Baldree wrote. So everything that you got from Legends and Lattes, you do get in this. And I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. I did read Legends and Lattes when I went into this one. Like before I went into this one. And I will be rereading them again and again. Feelings. A lot of feelings. And just, oh, I just want more in this world. I just want more of Viv. And I just love it. Absolutely love it. I've read some great books this year. I am so excited about all of these. And then I did do a vlog where I was reading some 5-star predictions, and Welcome to the Him Nam Dong Bookshop was in one of them. This really made me contemplate my life, my life choices, because it follows a woman who is, straight off the back, you know she's going through something. And she owns this bookshop, and she's crying behind the till when customers come in, and you don't really know until further along in the story about why she's so upset. she's settled in her life and what people think being settled in life is, to then realising that she wants to follow her dream of owning her own bookshop. And this is her finding ways to make her bookshop successful, finding new people that will work for her, finding friendships within the book community, book lovers. But this goes into detail about the questions you ask yourself when you're recommending someone a book, or if you're talking to an author, and what questions you really want to ask an author. And this goes into that, like, does any part of them shine through their characters, or is it just from their head? Is the books you recommend actually the books that the people need, or just what you have loved and think that everyone should love? And it's just about following your own passion and friendships and building on relationships and relying on others when you are not used to doing it, and it just really opens your eyes. Let me see what I wrote inside, because I feel like I butchered that. It says, "This was such a thought-provoking philosophical book. I read it in 2 sittings. It's beautifully written about a woman with a dream of opening a bookshop. You know she has a troubled past as she talks about her mental state when first opening the bookshop. It really makes you sit back and think about life and what it means to be living. Achieving your dream doesn't mean you will be happy for the rest of your life. It talks about authors and the publishing industry, and how working too much can affect your life, and how working for a corporation isn't always as it seems. They like using words such as team and family, giving you a feeling of loyalty when they have none. Recommending books to others isn't easy without knowing the person, because, like I was saying, knowing what a person needs from a book is really important. So getting to know that person makes it so much more easier to recommend them a book, rather than just going off of one that you love. But yeah, really makes you think about life, and it's one of my favourite translated fictions ever. So this was translated from Korean, and this one is translated from German. And the door-to-door bookstore, I fell in love with these characters. This follows Carl, who is a older man. He has worked at this certain bookshop for many a year, but as he's getting older, he has cut down his hours, but he still manages to make time to deliver books to people's houses. Honestly, it's the sweetest storyline ever. And he really nicely gift wraps them, knows the customers so well, to the point where he knows that some of them only like happy endings, some of them don't like a certain colour on the cover. He knows them down to a T, and he goes round and delivers these books to people who you find more things about, that struggle to leave the house, or there's all different reasons for different customers. And then one day, as he's doing his rounds, he meets Shasha. Shasha is a little girl who is, I think she's 9, and she starts following him on his rounds. And he's like, "How do you not know that I am a predator sort of thing? Like, how do you know I'm not a stranger danger?" And she's like, I'd like to see you outrun me." So he does try, and it's like such a cute scene. I love that scene. It stayed with me, and it shows you that age doesn't matter regarding friendship, and seeing other people's perspective from a different light and working on that. And there's parts in this that I cried, yeah, it's so good. It's I'm trying to get my words out. I just keep saying so good and so sweet, and it's just really heartwarming and precious, and it's going to be one of my favourite books of all time anyway. The feelings that I got from this, the tears that I shed, the found family in this, the friendships, the friends that you need but didn't know you needed. is just, it's just an incredible book. Read it. I highly recommend, as always, with all of these books. I keep saying that, but please read that one. Give that a go. You will not be disappointed, and I want to know all of your thoughts when you do, and if you cry, because yeah, I sobbed like a baby. So this one was another surprise one. I got it in a book box, read the synopsis of it, and absolutely fell in love with it, because I thought that's going to be so cozy. It's about animals. You probably know what's coming. I did a separate vlog, I thought, do you know what, I'd unboxed it, could not get my head from wanting to read it, so I was like, I'm just going to read it, and I'm going to vlog why I read it. So there is a vlog out for this, and it is The Phoenix Keeper. Oh my goodness, did this one take me by storm. And what made me want to pick this up straight away is because it says for people that like TJ Klune, which I love, and for people who like Travis Baldry. So that's what made me want, and I was like, that means it's going to be cozy, because both of those authors just give me that warm, fuzzy, cozy vibe. So that's what made me pick it up. And this follows a woman who, from her childhood, she has always been obsessed with like mythical creatures. And this is a zoo that is full of mythical creatures. And she, Isla, is that I think her name is, she looks after the phoenixes and some of more of the other mythical birds, but phoenixes are her favourite. And she's always wanted to do a breeding program at their zoo. So when an accident happens at a other zoo regarding the phoenixes and a breeding program that they had, she really advocates for their zoo to do a breeding program, and she has to like try and get everything up to spec. But know if you really love animals in general, because this zoo feels so real. You get to hear about the care of the animals, the diets, everything that a zookeeper has to do to look after these animals. You get to hear about it all. And I loved it. As an animal lover, it straight away, it's such a cozy read. It does have romance in there. It does have, it sort of turns into like a thriller towards the end. Like you start panicking and everything because you're like, oh my god, oh my god. But yeah, absolutely loved it. I probably butchered that summary of it, but if you love mythical creatures and you want to hear about them as if they are animals at a zoo that are getting, like, knowing their care and their diet and everything that goes with looking after an animal, but mythical creatures, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, especially if you love cozy reads. The next two are in the same series, so but I could not show one without the other, because I want to show you the first one because it's the first in the series, and I want to show you the second one because the emotions. Empire of the Vampire and Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff. Oh my god. Like, can you see that? Can you see that? And the feelings, this got me addicted. This was a roller coaster of emotions, and I could have messaged J. Kristoff and swore at him because of things that happen in this book. I didn't, because, you know, it was a bit aggressive, but I could have done. And I cannot wait for the next one to come out. I think that is going to be one of my most anticipated reads of the year, because wow, absolute wow. If you like vampire stories and you have not read this one yet, what are you doing? You need to read them. Yes, they are very chunky, but they are totally worth all of the time that it will take to read these. This follows Gabriel, we call him Gabe, and he has been imprisoned by the very monsters that he had vowed to kill. And they have imprisoned him and told him that he needs to tell his story from being young to him being captured. And they go through him telling his story about his life, and it goes through like his religious beliefs, his training, his friendships, his loves, his everything. It goes through everything, and oh, I can't even recommend them enough. Like, I keep saying I highly recommend, but honestly, if you love your vampire books, I don't judge you for not reading these. I'll take that back, but please do read them. You will really enjoy them, and you will fall in love with the characters and will be screaming and kicking your legs and hating on the author during the reads. But honestly, absolutely love these two. And then I say the last bunch of books, there are separate series here, but they're all in the same universe, and you probably know where I'm going with this because there's gaps on the shelf from last year's favourite series books that I had. And yeah, and I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad that it's the same again this year. I haven't done these in any order. I love these all just as much. I could pick any of them up and read them at any time and just adore them. But I did read the entirety. Let me try and do this in order. So there is 2. So as you see here, the first 3 of the Ruthless Boys, I think these got 4 stars. But the 4 and 5, which is Warrior Fae and Broken Fae, Warrior Fae, if you want to go in order. These are from the Ruthless Boys series, which is set in the world of Solaria, which is in where the Zodiac Academy is set also. So there is a character in here that is in the Zodiac Academy and also is in the Live and Let Lionel book as well, which is like short novellas, short little stories around the world of Solaria. But yeah, there is a character in this, which is why I say to read books 1 to 3, have a break, read the Ruthless Boys, and then go back into the Zodiac Academy. But I loved these 2. Like, I cannot believe it's only been last year since I mean, it was the beginning of last year, but I can't believe it's only been in my life for such a short period of time. But it's all I think about is the world of Solaria. Like, I don't know what Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti put in their books, but it's drugs. It's drugs. I tell you, this summer they need to be charged with something, because every time I read one of their books, I cannot put it down. I am in floods of tears. I am panicking, and then I miss it. Like, I go through them so fast that all these emotions fly at me. And then once the series is over, I'm just slumpy, because I'm just like, nothing's gonna cure me. nothing can cure this feeling. But luckily for me, this is a prequel series to the Zodiac Academy, and it was when I was going to do a reread, so I finished these and went straight into the Zodiac Academy. So I had fallback, but I highly recommend the Ruthless Boys. And then I went into the sequel series, which is Darkmoor Penitentiary, and I love these just as much. The 4th one we had to wait for later on in the year after I read this, which was like soon coming out, which I'm so glad that I didn't have to wait too long. I am so glad, because there's such a massive cliffhanger in the 3rd book waiting for the 4th book to come out, that I'm so glad that I didn't have to wait that long, whereas some people have been waiting a long time for it. It could not be me, because like I was just saying, you are needing the next book. You need to know, and that cliffhanger had me, and I could not wait for it to come out. The 4th one, it's over here, but the 4th one was one of my most anticipated reads once I'd read these, and I just loved it. I loved it. Darkmoor Penitentiary is got a character in that is featured in the Ruthless Boys, and she goes on a mission to go inside Darkmoor Penitentiary to right a wrong that she once did, and she goes in with the intention of breaking out, and nobody has broke out of Darkmoor before. So, but she plans to do it, and she is on a job at the same time. She needs to get someone else out of there for somebody else. So she's doing a job, but she's also in there for her own reasons at the same time. And it is like a why choose romance. I just love the characters, and Sin is absolutely insane. And I love that. Sin is like a really, really insane version of Seth. Like, he has the random, funny, compulsive behaviours like Seth from Zodiac Academy, but is absolutely insane at the same time. But I love him. And then the last book I'm going to talk about, Restless Stars, the final book in the Zodiac Academy series. This is why I ended up reading the whole of Zodiac Academy and the sequels and everything, because I was waiting for this to come. And it did not disappoint. I can't tell you how much emotions I felt whilst reading this. I cried when I started this book. No reason, nothing to do with the storyline. No reason at all other than it was the beginning of the end. How sad is that? I love this series that much that I cried because it was the beginning of the end. Like, I would never get a new book with these characters in. And whilst I was reading it, and I'm like, how many chapters is left? Is this the last chapter from this character? Because I was like mourning the loss of hearing from the characters whilst I was reading it. And there's so many times that I cried due to the book in this, and was on the edge of my seat. And I cannot recommend the Zodiac Academy series enough. Like, I cannot. Like, I just love it. It's my whole personality at this point, because every time that someone asks me for a recommendation regarding like fantasy and like, wanting a little bit of smut but a really good story at the same time, and a book that's addictive, I'm like, the Zodiac Academy. Yes, it is very intimidating because, but you can get all of them on Kindle Unlimited, so you can borrow and give back and borrow more. All of the Ruthless Boys, all of the Darkmoor Penitentiary, they are all on Kindle Unlimited. So you just borrow them. Just borrow them and read them on the Kindle, and they're not as intimidating on the Kindle because your Kindles are this thin and you don't see the pages, and it's just so worth it. The roller coaster ride you get throughout this series is just so worth the time and effort to put into it. I read it so fast. I mean, I am a quick reader anyway, but as I was saying, like Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti's writing, it's like a snack. You get through it so, like, it's so addictive. You fly through it, and then you're like, how much did I just read? Oh my goodness. But it's worth every second in my point of view. So my most anticipated read for last year was, it was an anticipated read for a reason, and I cannot wait. I am planning on reading the whole world of Solaria again this year, because I really want to maybe tab it or annotate it or something. If not, because you can't really get these editions anymore, they're going to be outrun, if that makes sense. They've got all shiny new covers come in and that, and I do have the special edition ones come in, so I might get the newer shiny ones. I'll have 3 copies of it, but why not? And yeah, I need to reread it, because it's all I think about when I'm at work and I'm doodling. I find myself writing quotes from books, and they're all Zodiac Academy. They're all Zodiac Academy. Or I'm like, Sin's lemons, or I am like, only hers, only his, blue means you, buttery bagels, horny for the horn. This makes no sense if you haven't read these, but you get what I mean? I'm always doodling, and it's always the Zodiac Academy or like the Solaria universe. So I do need to reread these, because this year I do want to make more of an effort of rereading my favourite books and not worrying about buying more books when I have plenty that I do need to read. And I'm planning on doing a massive unhaul. So if I haven't got to certain books that I've had on my shelf, even if they're special editions, but if I've had them like a year or more, you know, they could be on the chopping block. I'm really going through my library with a fine-tooth comb and being like, if this book, would I want to read it right now? And if I wanted to read a book like it, have I got any others that I'm more excited about? Do you get what I mean? So I'm like going through them like really harshly. I've got a big stack already that I've took off my shelf. I'm going through the ones that are on the top of my shelves as well. Nowhere safe. These definitely won't be going anywhere, because love of my lives. But yeah, that is all of the books that I wanted to talk to you about. I hope that you enjoyed listening to me rave about all of my favourite reads. There was plenty more that I could have talked about, but I didn't want to put too many in this video. I don't even know how many that was, but I just knew it was going to be a long video, and I've been talking on for an hour and 13 minutes. I did want to show you. I'm going to quickly show you. Sorry it's a long video, but I'm going to keep going. I want to show you some of my Christmas presents. Like, some of them are book related, some of them are not, but the ones that are not, I'll show you those first, but I just really loved them. And this is from the Natural History Museum, and it is a room diffuser. And my in-laws brought me this as one of my presents, and it comes in this beautiful little bottle, and the scent is Wildlife Garden, and it smells incredible. Absolutely love it. But they know that sorry if that was a loud bang, but they know that I really like the Natural History Museum. So when they saw that that's where this was from, they automatically thought of me, and with it smelling nice as well, it was just a really sweet, thoughtful present. So yeah, that was one of my presents. My mum brought me these cards that is stress less, and it is 100 effective tips for a stress-free life, and it's like a pack of cards, and it's got like things written on it that you can work on throughout your day to try and make it less stressful. And I thought that was sweet. Not like I'm stressed or anything, but you know, I am. And then Daniel brought me, my husband, he brought me a wooden jigsaw puzzle, and it is of a turtle, and this looks so like difficult. I say looks, but I have already done it. I did this over Christmas, and some of the pieces are actual animal, like sea creatures and animals shapes, but then like other pieces, they just don't make sense. Let me show you the back. It's very, very random shaped pieces. So there's no, oh, there's another creature. There is no rhyme and reason for it. They're just really, really random, but I did complete it. Absolutely enjoyed doing it. I'm going to redo it soon, because as much as it was difficult, it was so satisfying, when you actually got pieces that fit together, and because some of them don't actually interlock, they just connect next to each other. Craziness, but I absolutely loved it, and I really enjoyed doing it at the same time. And a few bookish things that I got. My mum got me some annotating tabs, which I always need more of those, because I use 100 on every book. Well, I use thousands on every book. And then KJ, I need to put the labels in this, but KJ got me a Sorceress Comes to Call. This was a recommendation by one of you. I think it was Jennifer. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it was Jennifer so I put this on my wish list. So this is the book that KJ got me. I'm really excited to read it. It is by T. Kingfisher. So yeah, really excited for that one. Thank you so much, KJ. And then, let me put it to one side. My husband got me the Folio Society edition of Jaws. I love this movie. Yeah, gonna need a bigger boat. And this is stunning. So this is what the cover looks like. And then just like Jurassic Park, it has artwork throughout. It's that beautiful paper that Folio have, which always makes it like such a pleasure to read. But yeah, I love the illustrations throughout it. Absolutely stunning. So that is one of the presents my husband got me. And then my in-laws also got me, can you remember last year I did that little bookshop, tiny miniature where you have to make everything up yourself? They got me a bigger version. So look at this. It's going to take me forever, but look at all of those little books. I am so excited for this. And it is a hell of a lot bigger than the last one. But I'm just really excited to have it. It's called Sam's Study. And Sam has got a really great study. So, yeah, I can't wait to make all of this up. It's going to take me forever and I'm just so excited for it. So, yeah, that was some of the presents that I got. I thought I would show you some that was more like book related, and then just ones that I knew that you had like a lot of thought into it. Obviously KJ did buy me a couple of more gifts, which were absolutely lovely, so thank you so much for those also. And yeah, that is the video, so I will end it now because, you know, I've been talking a very long time, and yeah, just shut up, Cuddy, shut up. So yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed hearing all about my favourite reads of 2024. I'm really excited for finding new favourites in 2025. Let me know what some of your favourites were in 2024. I would love to know. Have you got any recommendations for me? Because I will put them on my wish list and get them. I'm really excited for that one. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! Right, where shall I go next? I'm all over the shop. Another book that I read, obviously I've read all of these. Why do I keep saying, oh my goodness. Evelyn Hugo, however you say it, highly, highly recommend. No, I need to stop saying that. Stop saying that. Let me just grab the books I wanted to read last year. Oh my goodness. Year in January. Get over 2024. It's just the magical systems in his books are phenomenal. I did read. How do I describe it? It's just freaking amazing. I'm stacking up these all wrong and they're gonna fall over, so let me just move them. Oh no. But three other friends. So addictive. Highly recommend. I keep saying highly recommend. I need to stop saying that. You okay, mate? You've been eating your treat? Is that why you come up and burped? Yeah. Yeah. Mummy's just filming. I'm just filming. Let me pause it. Alright, I'm back. Bean wanted my attention a minute, so I had to stop filming for a minute. He comes home and tells Daphne. Then, what do I go into next? I just love them all. And all of these amazing ideas from right, then what do I get into? Then what do I go into? I've still got loads more books. How long have I been filming? Oh my god, 38 minutes. Wrap it up, could it? Wrap it up. Six sizzling sausages. But the way that this is written is so addictive. Hold on, I've got a really bad itch on my nose and I'm probably going to have no makeup on the end of it now, but never mind, can't go wrong. And oh, I nearly said I highly recommend, but need to stop. I can't really say that because it's sort of a spoiler. They like using worms to the point where he knows like some of them only like happy ends. Oh my god, I've been filming for nearly an hour. Right, need to wrap it up. Quick. So there is a vlog out for me. For me. There is a blog. I thought I spilled my coffee down me then, but I didn't. Let me put these back on the shelf. Oh my god, they are so heavy. Sequel series? Yeah, prequel, sequel, yeah. Read this series for the first time last year. Last year. Oh god, I keep forgetting it's January. There is such a massive cliffhanger. My Nottingham's coming out of me. So yeah, my most anticipated and then a couple of book things that I got. My mum got me some new tabs. Oh goodness, it's by I've got to put all these back now. Anyone watched the new season of Squid Game? I'm obsessed. In my head constantly, 24 hours since watching it. Absolutely obsessed. I just want to, like, there's a big stack of books now. I just want to hug them all and be like, thank you for keeping me sane in 2024. I love you so much. Yeah, anyway.